Aloha and welcome to the next video. And in this video, I'll be talking about meditation. So in the last 2 weeks or something, I haven't exactly had time to do a video, but I've been seeing synchronicities all throughout the day today. So I think now is a good time to shoot the video. And I take the topic of meditation because it's been, people have been writing to me and have been asking me over and over and over again to explain meditation a little better to them from both an objective and a subjective perspective. So let's begin by trying to define or try to understand what is the act of meditation. Now, if we were to walk up to somebody with a clinical or a medical background, and if we ask them what meditation is or what is the act of meditation, they would probably respond by saying that meditation is a process of concentrated focus on an image or a sound or visualization or breathing or movement or mantra chanting, all in the attempts to concentrate on the present moment or to bring the awareness or increase the awareness of the present moment, and in order to reduce stress and increase relaxation and promote relaxation and all of that. And then they would point out that a lot of studies and research have shown that people who meditate, meditation has a positive effect on stress and this and this and this and this. They're also going to say that there are no known side effects to meditating and all of that. Yes, that is meditation, and but that's not what we're going to be talking about in this video. However, we'll be taking another angle to the entire meditation thing. And to begin with that, let's first try to take in consideration the brain. Okay, the brain. And the brain basically, and we're talking about the physical manifest brain, not the mind. The brain is a electrochemical organ. It's called electrochemical organ because it's got both electrical and chemical activity going on in the brain. Why does this happen? Is because of the neural activity or the neurons processing and sending information. And the entire it's got the chemical element to it because the neurotransmitters, and it's got the electric element to it because the brain actually, all the neural activity actually generates electrical power. And they use something called as electroencephalography or EEG in order to measure these this electrical power, electrical activity. And those the electrical activity shows up in the form of brainwaves. Now, if you look at the EEG, they actually waves, the frequency. So let's get into what are these waves and what does this have anything to do with meditation? Why are you giving me a boring biology lesson? Basically, there are 4 typical types of brain waves. The first one is the beta state. Okay, the beta state is when your brain or the neural activity is very active. It's extremely chaotic. You've got a lot of thoughts hitting you. You're concentrating on something. Even fear, fight and flight situations. When your mind is completely aroused and you are you're acting actively and everything is you're active. Okay. In this case, the brainwave activity, if you look at the brainwave pattern that shows up, you'll see that the amplitude is very small and the frequency is like big. Yeah. So you see that it's like squiggly lines and small, tiny squiggly lines. And this is, for example, when you are debating or you're on stage and you're debating and you've got all these things going on in your mind. How do I refute this person's question? How do I so all of these thoughts that are coming to you at this point, your brainwave is at the beta level. Now there is a subset at the beta level called as the high beta level, in which you're scared and you're anxious, and at that point your neural activity is very chaotic. That's also called as the gamma level, but yeah, that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But the second in order is the alpha state. Now the alpha state is a little more relaxed than the beta state. This is when you've finished your debate and you've gone backstage and now you're sitting down and you don't have to go back on stage, so you can relax. Now the thoughts aren't hitting you as much as they were in the beta state. So it's a little more relaxed. So the frequency waves, the amplitude increases and the frequency reduces. So it becomes a little more relaxed. There are still thoughts. This is like having a casual conversation as opposed to a active conversation where it's sort of like an argument. This is also like when you go out in nature for a walk. You're in the alpha state. The next in order is the theta state. The theta state is absolutely relaxed. It is the state of daydreaming. It is also the meditative state. So in the theta state, what happens is that your brainwave pattern is now more undulated. It is the amplitude increases and it's a little more spaced out and it's very relaxed. Now you've got high theta state, which is deep meditation, and then you have low theta state wherein you're just getting into the meditative zone. And like I've mentioned in my previous videos, anything you do repetitively puts you in the theta state. So all these people who are driving on the freeway, they suddenly realize that they can't remember the last 10 minutes is because because you don't have to actively engage in what you're doing, their brain slipped into the theta state. Then the next state in order is the delta states. I call the delta states is because you've got delta 1, which is your REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement. This is dream sleep, active dreaming sleep. And delta 2 is deep sleep, but it is dreamless. You have no dreams. But then in delta 2, you still have neural activity, because if your neural activity frequency went to 0 hertz, then you'd be brain dead. So you still have neural activity going on. So what does this have anything to do with meditation? Well, by face value, you can already guess that in the act of meditation allows you to go from the chaotic beta state of mind to the relaxed and insightful, creative theta state of mind. And if you ever notice, a lot of people who can't go to sleep at night can't go to sleep because they're just bombarded with all these thoughts and they're just thinking so much that their brain just does not fall asleep. And therefore meditation can help in a person bringing their brainwave activity from the beta, the chaos, to theta, and then slowly slip into delta. And this is how people induce states of lucidity or lucid dreaming, which is where you have active control over your dreams, and you recognize that you're dreaming, and therefore you can control your dreams. Now this brings me to the concept of the meditative experience. Now the meditative experience is something that goes far beyond just relaxation and stress relief. It is something that, so what does it go beyond? It goes beyond the mind, quite literally. The mind is a thinking machine. It's just going to keep bombarding thoughts to you. So how do you go and try to figure out concepts of, say, higher consciousness, or what is consciousness, or what is unity consciousness, things that are beyond the mind? How do you go and access and understand those while using the faculties of the mind? So in order to go and open yourself to experiences that are not logically sane or can be logically understood, we need to shut down that part of the brain and open up to experiencing what is beyond. So that I would put under the entire concept of the meditative experience. So this will bring me to another question that I've been getting, and a lot of people have written to me saying that the meditative experience has called them, in the sense that they have felt a strong urge to go and meditate, as in the thought has occurred to them and it feels like they must do this. But when they sit down to meditate, the first thing that happens is, and it's very natural, I must say, is that they're bombarded by all these thoughts and all this is just coming to them, and then a lot of people get really disheartened, and then they say, oh God, I just can't do this, and meditation is not for me. I tried, and I really want to, but then it just did not happen. My response to that is, first off, you're on the right path if that happens to you. If you're sitting and you've got a lot of thoughts going on, that's good. It is the right path. For example, suppose you're playing, say, an instrument like the guitar. In the beginning, when you play the guitar, it's going to be extremely painful because you're pressing down metal strings onto wood, and so your fingers are really going to hurt, like excruciating. But then eventually your body will get used to it, and your fingers will form calluses in order for you to play guitar and not feel pain anymore. So the body will sort of learn to adjust to the initial frustration, and it'll all melt away. But keep doing it. Just do not lose heart, and don't break away from it. Just if the experience has called you, then stick with it. Okay. Now I'll explain what I do and what how you can probably a way of going ahead and doing it. I will explain that in the later half of this video. But for now, what really helped me initially in bringing down my brainwave pattern and to stop the initial bombardment of thoughts and help me get into the meditative state are binaural beats. What are binaural beats? Binaural beats are basically these tracks which have two tones. You have to wear headphones, so they have two tones. One tone is played from the left ear and one tone is played from the right ear. And then in your head, the two tones mix and create a phantom tone. And this tone activates separate parts of your brain which create particular effects. One of which is to bring you to the theta state of theta brainwave state, or the meditative state. Two companies that are very reputed in creating binaurals. One is called HemiSync, which stands for Hemisphere Synchronization, and the other one is iDoza. Now iDoza has quite a different reputation because it doesn't have anything to do with meditation as such, but it's a digital drug company in the sense that their binaurals replicate drug effects, including that of hallucinogens. But I will put up links here somewhere where you can go experience and put on the binaural beat and try to meditate to it. So also, if you're watching this video and you don't feel like meditating and it hasn't called you, and you're not compelled to go and have the experience, then don't feel compelled to go have the experience. It's fine. It's okay if you don't want to meditate. It's fine. So this brings me to the last part of the video, and this is a question that I've got so repeatedly. Is that what do I do? What is meditation to me? Meditation for me is a very private practice, in the sense that it is individual. There is no set way of doing it or a set thing to experience. It differs from person to person. So for me, there is, in my meditative state, okay, it is more like a heart dance. Okay, I'm going to say the heart dance because there's a journey that happens from the waking reality to the meditative experience. There's a journey that happens, and the journey is different every time. So I can't tell you this is exactly what you are going to experience because this is what I experienced. But I'll tell you the process of how I do my general meditation. And the reason why I said it's a heart dance is because most of the time I let my mind only come into the journey once in a while the rest of the journey is completely directed by the rhythms of my heart. I do what I feel in my heart. I don't bring in memories of what I've studied about meditation or what other people have done as their process and procedure of meditation. I don't let those thoughts come to me at all. I just let my heart and my own rhythms and the rhythms of the earth just guide me into the journey. So what I do is on a regular basis is I either sit down cross-legged or I lie down. Lying down is only suggested for people who won't fall asleep. If you want to fall asleep, sit up. Have a backrest so your spine is straight, which is very important. That's why I like to lie down without a pillow under my head, so my spine is straight. And you would generally they would tell you to begin by breathing, but what I do is I just sit or lie down for a couple of seconds and just like have my lungs emptied. I haven't taken a breath in as yet. My lungs would be empty and I would just quietly observe as the observer of what is going on inside of me, in the sense of my body. What am I feeling? Is any part of my body relaxing? I would just lie down and just not ask myself those questions, but I would feel those questions. Then after that I would begin by breathing, and I would take a breath in, and the breath sounds like the ocean. It's called the ocean breath, and yeah, I know, go figure. But sometimes I like to listen to that and then slip into the deeper states of consciousness. Otherwise, what you can do is you can start counting. You can start counting from 100 to 0, and then from 30 to 0. So you can narrow down your bombardment of thoughts to just focusing on counting. And from there, by the time I've taken my third breath, I'm already in the meditative zone. That counts with practice, but keep at it, and you'll get there too. Now when I'm already in the meditative zone, this is where I allow for all the parts of my body to relax, and I focus a considerable amount of energy for like around 2-3 minutes. I take 2-3 minutes to relax my entire body. By this time things will begin to start spinning, in the sense that I will no longer feel where the parts of my body are. In fact, if a thought comes that asks me where is my leg, I would know mentally where my leg should be, but then physically it would feel like it's not there. It would, in fact, sometimes it feels like my leg is way above my body or way below my body. So you just, that's just initially. Then at some point I would begin to feel that there is nothing around me, in the sense that I cannot feel the bed anymore. Sometimes when, everything is spinning, as in you are spinning, everything is not spinning, you are spinning. And it's not you physically spinning, it's your astral body that is spinning. And you're going to start feeling a lot of molten energy, a lot of energy coming in through your Agnya chakra, or any chakra actually. For me, it's the Agnya chakra, the third eye, which, by the time I've taken my third breath, it's already like buzzing all over my face. But that's where the energy comes in for me. And the energy becomes very heightened as you go through the journey. And it'll start flowing through your body and relaxing. By the time there is no body, there is no identity. My thoughts are at a minimal state, and this is around 5-10 minutes into the meditation. Then all this while I've let my mind or my thoughts come in very few times. It's just me flowing with the rhythms of the heart. So I'm just breathing in, breathing out, and just Sometimes I like to take mantras like Soham, which is really fun for me, because my meditation experience is extremely pleasurable. Then at some point I will feel a lot of power in my hands, and I will start tuning into the heart space. And how do you tune into the heart space? Is basically you begin to breathe in and out through the heart, and feel love. Now sometimes it's not easy to just suddenly feel love, So what I like to do is I like to hold an image of something that I love. I'll hold an image or think about something that excites the feeling of love, and I would then begin to hold that feeling and keep breathing into it till it keeps expanding, till it becomes till it fills me completely. And what I do first is I direct that energy, or this love energy, towards myself first, as self-acceptance and self-love, and accept myself in every accept myself however I am, and be completely okay with it, not beating myself up or feeling sorry for myself. Sometimes in your waking reality that does happen, especially if you're not completely one with duality, and if you're still stuck within the matrix, and you tend to beat yourself up if you're not like other people, and if you're not if you cannot relate to other people, you sort of end up blaming yourself. That's happened to me for a long time, but not anymore though. But I would do that. I would direct the love to myself. Then now I'm at a point where I'm so filled and so love drunk that I would start directing the love towards other people and towards the earth or the mother, and I would start healing people and the earth, and setting an intent and asking for guidance and help in increasing the earth's consciousness, in making people awake to their compassion and their love and respect for all things. And I would focus on the light. Sometimes it is difficult to focus on the light when you're bombarded with so much of duality, and you've got all the animal torture, and you've got pollution, you've got the banks, the Illuminati, all of that. The only reason why it affects us so much is because we end up focusing so much on it. So the key is to focus on the light, which is the source of everything. The light is all that is positive. So I would start doing that. Then at some point I will begin to bring my mind back in and start listing out all the things I'm grateful for, and I would thank Source for bringing it into my life. And the more you feel grateful for something, the more you expand completely. You can literally feel as vast as the sky. You're just so love drunk at that moment. And at the end of that, I would say thank you to everything, to Source, to my angels, to everything. And I will begin to just hold myself in the moment, in the present moment, come back to the present moment, and feel how I feel at that point in time. I'd have some tingly feelings all around my body, and I would feel what it feels like to be in that moment, and in that moment hold love and know that I am surrounded by love, and know that I am protected at all times. And I would come out slowly out of my meditation, and I will breathe in one last time, breathe out one last time, and by that time I'll be really high on love. And I would and then I'd go begin my day, or sometimes if I'm doing this at night, then go to sleep. I usually meditate right before going to sleep, or right after waking, but the ideal time to meditate is before a meal, as in before dinner, and right after waking up. Okay, so this is where I want to end my video. And if you have any questions, comments, experiences to share, please leave a comment down below. And until next time, namaste in Lakesh, and lots of love. Bye.